على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر
And I say, oh, fixed part.
Are you ready? It's okay.
Yeah.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
حقا لا إله إلا الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستهديه ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يضلل الله فلا هادي له ومن يهدي فلن تجد له مضلا. Dear brothers and sisters, just in a few weeks, Ramadan will be upon us, the month of worship and fasting and reading the Quran as commanded to us. The first word of the message, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق, and was praying the Tarawih. Ramadan is the month when we abstain from our human desires from dawn to sunset, and our abstinence is rewarded now and here and the hereafter, in Akhirah. In the hadith عن أبي هريرة قال للصائم فرحتان فرحة حين يفطر وفرحة حين يلقى ربه والحمد لله على النعم التي لا تحصى. A modest translation will be for the Muslim who is fasting. He has two joyful occasions. The first occasion when he breaks his fast at sunset, and the second occasion is when he meets his Lord. Alhamdulillah. At sunset, the joy of a Muslim that practices fasting all day makes him thankful, pushes him to realize the grace given to him by Allah, and indeed fasting is a therapy to cure from mental and physical illnesses. So in the month of Ramadan, we have the joy of reading the Quran. And Muslims usually spend during this month of Ramadan more efforts in reading the Quran. And they enjoy different ways of reading the Quran. So some they stress to read the Quran from cover to cover and read it once. I've seen people like reading it like maybe 15 times during the month of Ramadan, so retired people that have more time, so on. And these people read the Quran sequentially, and some they read the Quran and they stress on the meanings of the ayat. Maybe they finish the Quran maybe once during this month, but they're stressing on understanding the meaning of the ayat. And the Quran is a message for all times. It's not just like a message that was sent once and it's an old book that we put aside. Which means there are some messages that we understand them as they correlate with the advancement in our standing, whether it was scientific or in the literature as well. So there are certain verses that actually we come to understand according to the advances and our understanding these days with the science. In other words, the Quran is a timeless revelation, a message for all times that does not really expire. So the first surah in the Quran is Al-Fatiha, which we all know and read during our prayers. And the second surah is the longest one, which is Surah Al-Baqarah. Al-Baqarah, in Arabic means the cow. And it goes in like, it occupies 2 sections, Juz'ain, and a few more pages. And a lot has been revealed in this surah. So one thing in Surah Al-Baqarah, a message that we can understand. It doesn't cover everything, but just like a clear message here. Allah sent Adam to the earth as a Khalifa. Khalifa means like ones that will look after certain things. And we usually use the word Khalifa for the Amir al-Mu'mineen who came after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the first Khalifa on this earth was Adam. And Adam first was an inhabitant of Jannah. And everything in Jannah is pure. So he was commanded not to approach or eat from a tree, a certain tree in Jannah. And then Satan actually convinced him otherwise. So Adam, in this case, he disobeyed Allah's commandment and he ate from the tree. And by eating from the tree, actually his human intestine all started to work. And then when we eat, actually, so we have to go and do excretions. And that act by itself is not an act of people in Jannah. Thus, Adam came to earth. Adam, of course, he repented and he asked for forgiveness. So, and this is something that we usually do as human beings. We go through fitnas, through certain tests. Sometimes we pass. Tests were like harder and harder. Sometimes we might commit something and then we repent. Repenting is very important. So this is what I call the first class, people that actually they do mistakes and then they repent. Second class of people are the people that actually constantly they demand proof. And this one was revealed to us in the Quran as Bani Israel. So Allah says in the Quran about people, sons of Israel, وَلَقَدْ اخْتَرْنَاهُمْ عَلَى عِلْمٍ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. So, and in this at that time, many messengers were sent to the people of Israel. Many messengers. And in the Quran, some of them are mentioned. So we have Ishaq, Yaqub, Yusuf, Dawood, Sulaiman, Musa, and Isa. And here I mentioned that these, all of the messengers from Allah, they are all Muslims. But they were sent to different nations. And it is very important to stress that their message was limited to that time, as compared to the message, the last message, which was sent to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the only eternal message and the final one was revealed to Muhammad in the Quran. And the Quran is the only book that was preserved in its entirety, and as well the language of the Quran was preserved. So in different messages, maybe certain sections of these books were narrated afterwards, and then the language actually was not practiced for a while, and the language itself was lost. So this is an indication of the proof of our final message and the eternal one, which is the Quran, the preservation of the Quran as exactly as it was revealed, and the preservations of the language that the Quran was sent in. So the people of Israel asked a lot of their prophets. They did, and mentioned some important quality in the Bible, but they were very hard to convince, and their prophets actually produced many, many miracles to convince them that they were prophets. So they kept asking, and we know that Moses had miracles, and Sulaiman had miracles, and then Prophet Jesus had miracles as well. Third class of Khalifa Thalith, first class is Ibrahim. So I'm not listing them here according to their time they came. Ibrahim came before Ishaq and the other prophets, but I'm listing them according to the classifications. Okay, so قال تعالى, God sent Ibrahim, told him that إني جاعلك للناس إماما. So God told Ibrahim that he will make from him an imam for people. And Ibrahim actually, he produced the ultimate in the submission. So different from other prophets. So Ibrahim, okay, he had a ru'ya while sleeping, and prophets, they have different things, like we have dreams, but prophets, they have ru'yas. And in his ru'ya, he saw that he was sacrificing his son Ismail. And he told his son that. And his son told him, do as you are commanded. So over here, third class of people is like, the third class of Khalifa is the class of people that obey, and usually they don't ask why. And we know that the Prophet Ibrahim actually, he proceeded to sacrifice his son, and then at that time it was revealed like, Ya Ibrahim, قد صدقت الرؤيا, you have believed and you have obeyed, and then in Arabic, so he was sent a great catch, an animal for the sacrifice. So there are other things, of course, there are others. The Surah Al-Baqarah, since it's a large one, contains, of course, a lot of laws and rules. These laws and rules, and of course, contains the story of Al-Baqarah, which we might discuss some other time. But it's very important if we look at these classifications. So let's say, if we do this, like we have three classes of human behavior. mentioned here. And the laws that come, that are mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah later on, we are put, okay, with the choice how to proceed with these laws and rules that Allah revealed and asked to us, according to which one. And we are called Muslims, and Muslim in the word, a Muslim is one who submits. Islam is submission. So in this case, we will be as or we prefer to be like Rahim. So just which is obeyance of these rules. But then the choice is left to us or to each human being, each one alone. So we have a choice of how to go ahead with these laws and what Allah asked us. At the end, Surah Al-Baqarah, it is sealed by certain ayat. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Billahi ma fi samawati wal-ard wa in tubdu ma fi anfusikum aw tukhfuhu yuhasibkum bihi Allah. What this translation is, everything that is on earth and in the heavens is belongs to Allah. And if you reveal what is in your heart, what's deep inside you, or you hide it, you will be accounted for. And this is something that is very harsh, I say. Like, oh, I have something. But if you really take, of course, you're reading the Quran and you're going to proceed and then we're going to come back. But if you really just listen to this one, it requires that you, even in your heart, to be pure. It actually entices you to do whatever is good and refuse any of these bad ideas that will come to you. And remember, in Jannah, it's a state of pure beings. So even, not just like when it comes to food and excretions, but even like with these thoughts. So the people of Jannah are the people who are really pure. So if your brother did something to you, your neighbor did something to you, well, maybe it was a mistake, maybe he did it, he did not. You always give him the benefit of the doubt. It was not an intentional thing, and you don't keep that inside. You just proceed with your life. And then this is the way pure, and this is the quality of the people in Al-Jannah. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, living in Al-Jannah, you can't really have people that actually don't like each other or dislike each other, or they practice namima and so on in the hustle. So, and the question is, like someone will ask, well, how are we accounted by what we harbor inside, even though we didn't commit it? So, this ayah refers to that you should be a pure person, and you should, all of the unacceptable thoughts, you should turn them away from yourself. Clean yourself from the inside. So initially, when the Sahaba, they heard this ayah and they understood Arabic well. Remember, at that time, the production of the literature was so great that these probably one of the periods in or out of nations where there was a lot of literature produced during that time. So then comes another ayah, which is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. So the reaction here came from, as revealed in this ayah, states that, again, modest translation is that the Prophet, Rasulullah, he believed in what was revealed to him, and al-mu'minun, they all believed in Allah, God, Malaika, angels, kutubihi, and all of the messages that were sent, Rusulah and the prophets. لا نفرق بين أحد من الرسل. We don't differentiate between different prophets. We don't. We consider that our message is eternal, but all the prophets were prophets of Islam, with all respect. وقالوا, and they said, سمعنا وأطعنا. We heard and we obeyed. So this is as we compare to Prophet Ibrahim. غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. We seek forgiveness, and to you we will turn. But then there's the other ayah that comes in, and it's like, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما كسبت. So in here, so لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها means like Allah doesn't really ask for what you cannot do. He only asks you for what you can do. And this is very important, because as a Muslim, how the accounting will be is you will go through fitnas. I mean, someone who doesn't go through any fitna, someone like didn't really take a test, and then you cannot really account him for passing these tests. And the fitna, they're basically they're tests for us. So in this life, we go through tests, and we will be judged and accounted according to how we proceed and if we pass these tests. So it's very important actually when we perform dua that we ask Allah to give us tests that we can pass. It's not like, oh, don't give us any tests, because if you're not given any tests, you cannot be accounted. So you ask Allah for giving you the strength so you can pass the test or the fitna that you go through. Again, so continue. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. So, and then as a mu'min, we do dua. Allah, please. I mean, human nature is sometimes we forget, and we commit some mistakes. So in this case, we ask Allah that, if I for example, if I forget something, or something unintentionally, please, you ask for forgiveness. And ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. Don't please hold us with Allah. Don't ask from us a lot that we cannot carry that you did to others before. And ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به. Very, very close to it is, don't make us bear what we cannot bear. واعف عنا واغفر لنا. Forgive us, warhamna, and have mercy on us. أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. You are our Lord, so provide us with a victory on الكافرين. قل قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. استغفر الله. Alhamdulillah. So as we start preparing for Ramadan, and Ramadan this year is going to be, it's not going to be during the hot and the long days of the summer. Reading the Quran and trying actually to understand the message and the ayat is should be our practice. And sometimes we start reading the Quran, something that we are familiar with, we can proceed fast. And sometimes actually we might get stuck on one ayah and we try to find the meaning. And as I mentioned, some of the ayat, like we go back to the old books, and they didn't really have the, we're not at that level of understanding that we were able to understand these ayat. So some of these ayat actually we can understand them according to our state of understanding the laws, the physical laws in this universe. And for example, in Surah Tariq, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَالسَّمَاءِ وَالطَّارِقِ. Tariq in Arabic means taraqa, knock. It. The heavens and the Tariq, وَالسَّمَاءِ وَالطَّارِقِ, heavens and Tariq. And there's a connection here between the heavens and Tariq. السَّمَاءِ وَالطَّارِقِ, النَّجْمِ الثَّاقِبِ. And Najm is the star, Thaqib is like, just like it pierces something, piercing stuff. And this is, if you read it, there's a connection between the heavens, there's a heaven, there's mention of the heavens, there's a mention of stars, there's a mention of a knock. And actually, these days when some of the astronomers, they try to like looking in the skies, usually you don't use a telescope, actually just like with, you can use your eyes to see it. So basically, the light is a very narrow spectrum of that electromagnetic energy that we as humans, we can detect with our eyes, right? And our eyes are detectors. And then there is, but that spectrum is very, very broad. And part of that spectrum is what we use in wireless communications these days. So actually listening to this one or the science, they don't only use just the optical light or that narrow band that we can see, but they listen actually to other like lower or higher frequencies, and they use it like for in detectors. And in, for example, in certain parts like those, like when you have like binary stars or stars revolving on each other, and then try to listen to them, and actually you actually hear like that thing, like which is a knock. And this is a mu'jiza in the Quran, and of course plenty there. Some of them we can understand now, we came to understand. Some of them we still don't understand. But it's important for you as a person to always try to understand. So Allah says in an ayah, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ. And the word يَتَدَبَّرُونَ in Arabic means actually like going back or turning back, which means like as you're reading the Quran, you come to something, and then this thing triggers something that you read before. So you'll find certain ayats in the Quran spaced differently, different surah, but they might refer to something, and then this is how you can follow the meaning. So for example, in As-Sama'i wa-Tariq, if you don't have the heavens there before Tariq, would have probably meant something different. But it's, you know, the the location, the orientation, what comes after it, and then what probably another ayah that came close to it before. So أفلا يتدبرون القرآن means like we should, when we read the Quran, actually practice that to the Quran. So let's perform more dua. Allah, alhamdulillah. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت واغفر لنا وارحمنا انت مولانا. Alhamdulillah, we thank you Allah for bringing us through this pandemic. We thank you, we ask mercy for all the people that passed during that pandemic, and for us that are still here, please provide us with the strength and make us pass our tests. اللهم اهد والدينا واجدادنا وارحمنا اجمعين يا ارحم الراحمين. الحمد لله على كل شيء. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المسلمين. Thank you Allah for the greatest gift, which is Islam.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والسماء والطارق وما أدراك ما الطارق النجم الثاقب كل نفس لما عليها حافظ فلينظر الإنسان مما خلق من ماء دافق يخرج من بين الصلب والترائب إنه على وجهه لقادر يوم تبلى السرائر ما له من قوة ولا ناصر والسماء ذات الرجع والأرض ذات الصبر إنه لقول فصل وما هو بالهزل إنهم يكيدون كيدا وأكيد كيدا للكافرين أمثلهم رويدا. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. They have a lot here. So, Safta's wife, Roshan, is sick and needs our dua. So, we ask Allah to provide for her means to cure her from her sickness, from sickness, and all the